for this 2014 Ram 3500 diesel, when you get your kit, you will, if you don't have one of these weblink desktop account or file, you'd have to get the seller to flash it for you. This is what it's going to look like. So obviously Ram, it's a 2014 3500 tip start diesel automatic, factory remote. Then you go down, save and continue. On this one, the customer wanted it to run for 25 minutes, and it'll be the lock sequence to activate it. Now obviously it'll still control the door locks. Factory alarm, parking light, rub down, shift control. It's going to pick up the tag, glow plugs monitoring, so it'll do it on its own. So if you have a diesel, the glow plugs have to warm up the block before turning over. So that's what that glow plug status monitoring. It goes through data, so you don't have to wire anything up. 25-minute runtime, parking light. What else? It's pretty much all adjusted for you. So all you had to do is go to Flash. As you can see, 3500. And once you get to that, just flash your device, and that's all she wrote. And do the install, and I will show you what that looks like, and then we'll go from there. Alright, I forgot to mention on the previous video that this is a two-stage programming setup. Obviously, the kit that you will need is FLRSCH10. Basically what that two-stage setup means is the first half of the process is the module copying the information of the key, and you have to go back to the computer, and then the computer would kind of process everything and then kind of dissect the information on the key. So for the next step, that's when it'll program 100%. So what that basically means, I just kind of want to break it down real quick. The one I'm working on is a 3500 diesel. It's a 2014, so that's a install type number 2. So I'll kind of show you that. The only ones that you will need is pretty much these 3 plugs. You don't have to install this driver door pin. That basically just kind of shuts off the radio if you don't proceed and drive off with the vehicle. I never really install that because most of the time people pretty much leave when they remote start it. So let's go down. You also don't need to install the hood switch. You don't have to do any of these process. That's only for the harnesses that were version 1.2. If you buy one now, they're pretty much updated, and this is all pretty much situated, but they just haven't updated the system, so it's still showing the 1.20. The new version that you will get is a 1.30, so you should be all good and you don't have to do any of that. Alright, for the programming, this is the programming. So obviously you open the driver door to wake up the data bus, press the unlock on the remote. Once you unlock it, it'll show or it'll flash green, and then once it does that, turn the key to on position, wait till the LED turns solid red. Once it does, turn off the key, remove it, insert it again, turn it on, and then wait for the LED to flash green, and then turn it back off. Now as it's flashing green, if you can see right here, disconnect power last. That's the big black plug. Disconnect the other plug, the smaller plug first, and then disconnect the black plug. The black plug is where the power is, so that's the one you have to disconnect last. And then this is where the two-stage process begins. Now if you don't have the weblink updater, you can actually just call around the shops that handles ADS, Flashlogic, iDataLink, and things like that, and you can just kind of ask them if they want to do the second stage, or whoever you buy it from. Some people you can actually send it back to them, and then they'll do the second stage process. This is where once you plug it back in after the first half of the programming, then it'll complete the other half via the computer. But yeah, once you get that done, obviously connect it back. This time you have to connect the power first. So you're gonna have to connect the black plug first and then the other smaller plug. So it's on the reverse. Once you turn the key to ignition on, you'll wait till the solid green, turn it off, and then start the truck, and then turn it back off. And that's pretty much the completed process. So here we are inside the truck. I just wanted to show you what all is included in the kit. Obviously you have your module, you have your T-harness, and you got little knick-knack accessories. Most of the time I don't really even use these. It's for like horn, driver's pin, etc., etc. So just kind of put that aside. So I'll go ahead and start plugging it in, and I'll show you what plug need to be plugged, and let's go from there. To get started, this panel just pops off. It just has Phillips screws right here, and you got another Phillips screw right here, and just kind of the way you pull it is kind of pull it upward this way. All it has is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has like little locking clips, the plastic deals. So just kind of slowly pry it up, and this thing would kind of pop off pretty easy once all that screw is out. So, but yeah, go ahead and do that, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, we will start off with the parking light T-harness. Parking light switch right here. I was able to just kind of use my hand and go in the back. And as you can see, I have my fingers right there. If you can see that. All you're really doing is pushing it from the back. It's only held by these little locking clips, locking tabs, whatever you want to call it. But you will use the T-harness, parking light side, the VS8 and VS7. So just push this, release that, and then like I said, just plug this in, male to female, and then go plug it in back at the parking light switch itself. So I just got it all plugged in. As you can see, it tees off. The original plug is right here, and here's part of the VS8 T-harness. And then the other side, VS7, if I recall. Yeah, the other side of the VS8 goes back to the parking light. Obviously just put everything back in, and we'll move on to the next process. The next step would be the ignition harness. Obviously the ignition key cylinder. The plug that you need is right here. The tab is on the other side, so obviously just press it. Here's the tab right here, just kind of press it in and it'll release. The T-harness you would need is the VS1, and obviously just plug it in, male to female, and then plug it back in, and that'll complete the ignition side of the install. The last step in this process is the OBD2. So here's the factory OBD2 plug. Here's the T-harness. Obviously plug in the male and female, and then insert this back over here. That's pretty much the whole T-harness installation. So we'll go ahead with the programming, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So we have everything completed. Just to kind of show you how it works, got your stock remote. Press the lock 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Give it a few minutes, the parking lights would come on. Let's go inside just to show you how to operate it. Press unlock. You come in so you can see the ignition. You turn the radio down. Once you put it on the ignition, turn it on run. Don't try to crank it. So you can see it's on the run position. As soon as you step on the brake, sorry for the Crocs, I was outside, so yeah. As soon as you step on the brakes, the parking light would shut off and the auto light would kick on. So if you don't insert the key on the run position and you step on the brake, the vehicle will shut down. It still has the factory options. Everything stays the same, but they still have to have the security feature to where nobody can really drive off without the key. So, but other than that, the install is pretty straightforward. It'll run for 25 minutes. The glow plug is picked up via data, so you don't have to set any of that. So, other than that, that's pretty much all it is.